I'm sorry.
Were you singing rain?
Sing, yeah. Sorry, folks. This is Rhonda. You all right?
I'm good.
Okay.
I got it going.
You got it going?
Got it going.
Ladies and gentlemen, the hour is past, and I apologize. I call this meeting over. Mr. Johnson, if you would, give the invocation for it, please.
Father, we just thank you again for allowing us to come and handle city business. We actually give us knowledge and understanding to make the right decision for our people. We actually bless our city, those that sick, bereaved, those that are shed in. Our soldiers on the battlefield today. In your name I do pray. Amen.
Amen. Let's stand and pledge allegiance to the nation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, gentlemen, is there any recommendations for adjustments to the agenda? Goodness, that's unusual. Entertain a motion that we approve it.
So moved.
Mr. Ramey's made a motion that we approve it. It's seconded by Mr. Johnson. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Our work is cut out for us. Okay, Ms. Andrea, you're up first up. Good
Thank
to
you,
have
Mayor.
you. Good to have you. Sorry about your mother the other night. Is she
She's
doing
better.
Is she
Better,
doing
yes,
better?
sir.
Good.
Yes, sir, the purpose of me being here is to ask for your support in the creation of a complete count committee for the census 2020. Census day is actually April 1st, 2020, but we need to start preparing now because, as you know, the census is very important, and the complete count committee will be a group of volunteers, community leaders who can help increase awareness and motivate people to respond to the 2020 census. The 2020 census is largely going to be online, so that's one of the problems that we face as a community this time. We want to make sure that everybody has access to the internet, and we need to, the complete count committee will have some trusted people on there to ensure everyone that all census data is confidential. And of course, census data we know impacts our state, impacts our nation, impacts our community. Census data is determines our political representation at the state level, at the federal and the local level as well. We also know that according to data, it says that it's equal to about $2,500 per person per year for every person that's counted. So you can imagine if you got 4 people that aren't counted, that's about $100,000 a year. You know, or I'm sorry, $100,000 over those 10 years for 4 people. So that's we definitely want to make sure that our counts for the community grows. We want to make sure that it goes up and increases. Because as I said, that federal funding, that state funding, and that representation at the federal and the state level especially, we want to ensure that we're set for that. So like I said, my purpose in being here is just to ask for your support in the creation of this. The Chamber Development Authority is certainly ready to lead the charge on this and try to get as many people counted in Hazlehurst, Jeff Davis County as we can.
Absolutely.
Just a question, I mean, you said it would mostly be online, the census would be. Now, and we know there are a lot of people that do not have online access and whatever else.
Right.
Now, are they still going to have the census takers going out to the homes and whatever else, or is that going to be something that?
They are, and that's another thing, they're actually hiring now as well, so that's another thing, we need to be on the lookout for people, you know, who are looking for a part-time job, who would be willing to do that. But yeah, and then they're also, you know, they'll send out mailers and stuff like that to people's houses, but you know, the key problem is most people think, well, this doesn't impact me, or I'm, if you're living in Jeff Davis County on April 1st, 2020, you need to be counted as a Jeff Davis County.
Now, will will it, because a lot of it can be done online and everything, will citizens be able to have access to computers at a library to do this, or is this mainly at home thing or whatever?
Certainly. Certainly, yeah, you can use the computers at the library for that. We hope that this committee will be able to come up with some ideas for, maybe setting up on a Saturday around April, March, April next year, setting up, maybe a tent and, maybe having some iPads and encouraging people to fill out the census there, going to highly populated places. So, we hope that this group will be able to come up with some ideas like that.
Now, on our behalf and everything else, and I'm just asking and everything, is there anything as far as a facility that could be provided for people, say for X time from let's just say 10 to 4 daily to go sign up at a certain place and you set a tent, they're gonna set up tents maybe here, there, whatever, for a Saturday or whatever else, but other than that, would setting up some kind of site like that be something feasible that could be done? I mean, with the census takers and everything, could they?
Right, like if you wanted to set up a computer, a laptop or something here at City Hall or something like that, is that what you're?
Well, yeah, or either a building, a facility and everything that, we may have that we can offer to the public from, say, 10 to 4 and have X number of computers there so they could do that.
Yeah, sure. That's something that this committee would definitely, come up with, and so that's why we need y'all's support for stuff like that.
I ain't volunteering, so I'm just putting it out there. I just want y'all to know that.
No, you're the chair of the committee now. No, we appreciate, we need those ideas like that, so we definitely need y'all's help.
We certainly appreciate you coming and joshing us a little, because when you figure $2,500 per person that you miss, that's the right sizable amount of money in revenue. And a little town like us misses 100 people, you're talking about a lot of money. And so it is important that we reach out. So please don't let this be the last time you jog us. Keep us there. And we certainly appreciate it, and we'll, as a group, we'll certainly work to try to get everybody counted.
Okay, thank you, Mayor.
Okay.
What time will we start doing this?
I believe, I think it goes online maybe in February of next year, sometime around then. The official date is April 1st, 2020, but people will be filling them out from all the way from February, I think, until even June. Yeah, so it'll be open for quite a long time, so we'll have a good, amount of time to reach everybody that we can. Yeah, but I'll be back. Like I said, this is just to help form a committee and to get y'all's support.
Okay, all right, any more questions? Any questions from the audience there? Y'all got any questions about the census? Y'all all gonna work hard on it too?
I have a question.
Okay.
You mentioned iPads, are they gonna have an app for your phone?
I'm not exactly sure how, they haven't really given us all that information yet,
Right.
how it'll be accessed, but.
Like Eric said, a lot of people don't have internet at home, they got a phone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think the phone reaches a lot more than the internet and the computer does at home, so I feel sure.
Sure, I'm sure
I'm sure they have some application for that.
I'm sure it'll be mobile, friendly.
Yeah. Okay, if no other questions, thank you, Andrea.
Yes, sir.
Pardon?
You got a resolution to sign.
Okay, why didn't you explain your resolution while you were there?
Oh, I'll come back and just get a photo of that later. But it's basically just to create that committee.
Okay, she does have a resolution, y'all got your packet there, y'all read it? Okay, well, I entertain a motion to approve.
The top of it says just that Board of Commissioners should say City Council. That's all I'm saying.
Therefore, be resolved that well, why don't we, I'll tell you what, y'all authorize this with, when Ms. Bernice gets it all prepared and ready, why don't y'all authorize me to sign the resolution adopting, the resolution is creating a Census 2020 complete count committee to plan and conduct local educational initiatives, publicity, and promotional activities to increase community awareness and participation in the census. Why don't y'all authorize me when we get this ready for signature to sign this resolution? Right now, entertain a motion that we adopt it.
Offer motion.
Motion made by Mr. Johnson that we adopt the resolution. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and second that we adopt the resolution, and you'll authorize me to sign it for final administration. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We'll handle that. Thank you. All right, our attorney's been hard at work since Monday, getting our resource officer contract updated.
Number two.
I'm trying to hurry.
Slow down.
All right. Oh yeah, by all means, I wanted to get that done Thursday night, y'all wouldn't let me. Finally, for the benefit of those that are here that are not aware, our auditor that had been auditing our operation here left us here several months ago. And we were left without an auditor and had to search for one. We finally employed a very competent firm down in Valdosta. It's taken a long time, but we finally have our audit complete. Our last audit is almost time for another one now. But at any rate, we do have the final draft of the audit, and the council asked to wait until tonight for them to acquaint themselves with it and be ready to adopt it. I'm sure they're ready, so we entertain a motion that we adopt the draft of the audit.
Make a motion.
Mr. Griffin made a motion that we adopt the audit draft. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Johnson. Any further discussion about the audit?
Just want to say that I thought it was very well put together, and it was very informative and everything. I thought it was good. I thought it was a good write and everything else. So I'm just putting it out there.
The years that I've been here, it's absolutely the most detailed audit that I've had the opportunity to look over and read and look at. And I will conclude, too, that in the end, it was very informative. It's not only is it list all the facts relative to our operation during that time, it gives anybody that looks back and with their analysis and whatnot, it's a good management tool now. When you look at it, it can help you, it can help us as council, mayor and council, to do a better job of looking at what's going on. So it was very educational, and in the end, I thought, and Ms. Tammy and I agreed after she looked at it, that we got a right good grade, and that's important too. That our grade or the end was absolutely astounding. That we making a few adjustments that should have been corrected. That they gave us very good marks, and I thought that was great too. Any further discussion about the audit draft?
I thought it was well done, very informative, and I'm glad that we waited though from Monday to today, and one of my fellow councilmen did find a little typo in there, not knowing the right city.
Mr. Griffin, in his reading somewhere where we had, of course, I didn't particularly like that particular line, but he did a good job. Found where Glenville, Georgia had made a $4 million loan. I wish it had been Glenville.
We still have the note, but we didn't
I wish it had been Glenville. I guess probably they're doing an audit in Glenville and in Hazlehurst. But at any rate, so much for that. Are we now, anybody else, any further comments? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion is carried. I'll sign it and get it on its way to the audit firm and to Atlanta. Because Lord knows we need it in Atlanta. Yes, ma'am? Okay. Hey, you're gonna let me go on to the next one I tried to a while ago? All right, thank you. Our attorney's been busy this week, and I'll let him speak a little toward the school resource officer. As you know, we've always had a policeman that sort of helped our school officials keep order and police, but now with the situation as it is across the country, police officers protecting our students has become more and more of a very conscious item, And so we and the sheriff's department, we're not doing it alone, between the city and the sheriff's department, we're trying to protect our youngsters in school. And so, Mr. Smith, you've got a new contract for us to sign?
I do, and I understand it's not really varied from the one last year. And it's ready to go. All we have to plug in is when the beginning and ending date is, and it's in August or some date. I reckon they'll backdate it to when school began. Are you familiar with that, Mr. Myers?
I'm assuming that they'll go with August. Usually it goes from July the 1st to August, July the 31st to August.
At any rate, the officers are already on duty, and they're gonna be paying them, so as of the day of school, or whenever those officers were assigned at school, I want the Board of Education paying the bill, so make sure it's dated that way. Other than that,
Well, Ms. Bernice there's a typo in here we need to take and fix before we sign it and everything too. That's all. It's just the year, one of them says 2018, one of them says 2019, that's all. We just have to take
All right.
and change that.
all right, that's okay, we can, Ms. Bernice and I, with y'all's help, can handle that sort of thing. I entertain a motion that y'all authorize me to sign the contract with school resource officers with appropriate corrections. Mr. Ramey's made the motion, who seconded it, you, Mr. Johnson?
Yeah.
Motion made, seconded, that we approve the resource officer contract. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, go ahead with the fire ordinance too. Next, number 4 is the
We
fire
have
ordinance.
fire and safety codes ordinance. Let me say, Officer Newell did an excellent job getting the information together. We had to just do some organizing. He worked with me very closely on this, and I appreciate you helping us plug in all the things that we needed. This would be the first reading, of course, since it's a regular ordinance. We could read it tonight and then pass it at the September meeting. But y'all all had a chance, I hope, to copy, look at it. And I'm sure there'll be, as the city grows and if things develop, there'll be amendments to this. This is pretty thorough for the time being to start with.
So we're going to read it at this meeting and read it again in September and then adapt it?
And of course, under the charter, all we have to do is read the preamble. So I'll read the preamble, if y'all ready, and if y'all make a motion after the preamble to proceed with it, and then there'll be the second reading and the next reading passage.
In September's regular meeting, and then adapt it, adopt it.
All right.
Okay, go ahead.
Fire and safety codes ordinance, whereas the city of Hazlehurst is in need of a comprehensive fire and safety code for the protection and well-being of its citizens and property within the city. And whereas said fire and safety code should provide for the establishment duties of the fire marshal, procedures in case of fire emergencies, burn permits, fire occupancy permits for new construction, and building codes for commercial buildings, reporting of fires, fire alarms, and fire watch requirements. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Hazlehurst, the following fire and safety code ordinance.
Okay, gentlemen, you've heard the preamble to the resolution. I entertain a motion that we proceed to the adoption of the resolution.
I make a motion we proceed with the adoption of the resolution with the fire ordinance.
Mr. Griffin's made the motion that we proceed with the adoption of the resolution. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Ramey. Any further discussion about it? Okay,
We'll have a second reading.
all in favor say aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carried, and we'll finish it, it'll be completed in September. Yes, sir.
We'll say second reading in September.
Right. Okay. All right, moving along.
Now, this one's a little bit different animal. This involves the backflow that y'all discussed extensively at the last meeting. And this can be passed tonight as an emergency ordinance, which I felt probably the city needed to do based on the EPD letter. They wanted to see some movement within the next 30 days. The documents that was furnished by the EPD, I was able to wade through those and formulate an ordinance. There's some matters that we'll have to amend later, such as fees for residential and commercial. I just plugged in an arbitrary number because I doubt there's going to be any fees assessed before we do the final ordinance. But this we can send to the EPD to show we are starting something and getting it going. It is an emergency ordinance, and under the charter, we can pass an emergency ordinance. It becomes binding tonight. It expires in 90 days. My thought is if y'all pass this tonight, we're good for 90 days. But within that 90-day period, we'll come back and
Perfect.
perfect it, and then have a second reading where it'll go into effect when this one expires.
Well, I'd already looked at it with some of the council, and we'd already decided we weren't gonna approve that like it's done. There's a few things that's gotta be perfected.
Exactly.
But, since you've clarified it that way, gentlemen, the attorney has advised us in order to, because I'm not too interested in satisfying EPD anyway, but at any rate, that doesn't mean I'm right. I think the attorney is advising us correctly, and that we do go ahead and make this a temporary move heading in that direction with the understanding that there's some things in it that we won't modify, that's got to be adjusted. And two, it gives them an opportunity if we fail to maybe make notice of things they might want. I don't think they know what they want anyway. I've said enough contrary to that, but at any rate.
Now, Mayor, you know that you always tell us that we are alone, and that includes EPA.
Are you sure? I like that. Thank you, Mr. Ramey, you always come through. All right, I entertain a motion that we, excuse me, oh, you're gonna read the preamble?
Gotta read the
Okay.
preamble.
All right, I'm trying to get it over with.
An emergency ordinance to protect the potable water supply of the city of Hazlehurst, Georgia. Whereas the maintaining of a potable water supply to the citizens of the city of Hazlehurst is of utmost importance, and whereas there exists technology by which the water supply may be protected from backflow contamination, and whereas the city has been put on notice by the Georgia Department of Natural Resources on August 2nd, 2019, of the potential presence of backflow contamination to the potable water supply and the need to begin a program within 90 days to address such issues. Now therefore be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Hazlehurst pursuant to Section 2.24 as an emergency ordinance to identify and correct the sources of backflow of potential contamination of potable water supply to the City of Hazlehurst as follows.
Okay, you heard the resolution. Did I get a motion that we entertain did I get a motion and a second on that? Huh? Okay, all right.
You got one now, so move.
Let's make a motion that we adopt this temporarily.
Temporarily.
All right, and get it off to get EPD off our back. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Griffin. Any further discussion? Yes, I have some.
Question for council. It's pointed out here, it says 30 days and not 90 days. Is that?
No, this is that the EPD said it need to start addressing the problem by 30 days.
Okay.
This
I got it.
automatically expires within 90 days.
Okay.
Okay.
Which we'll have time to come back and enact a permanent ordinance with fine tune this one with the issues y'all have. But this shows EPD, we've done something within the 30-day period they said to get cracking.
We're jumping through there little. But the thing that I want to mention to the council, and of course I think y'all all understand this, and to the audience, this thing is primarily addressed at large industries and industries that have a sprinkler system. Has a lot of cast iron sprinklers overhead. And these plants, Hazlehurst Mills, E-Row, Cooking Company, in fact, when I was down with Cooking Company, we put in a large one then. And so I'm very familiar with this. But then, so often in fire safety, that thing has to be checked. It has to be turned on under certain pressures and checked to make sure that everything's working. And in doing so, that old black iron pipe's full of contaminants. And it don't hurt fire protection, put out a fire. But if you don't have a backflow thing and you don't flush the system right and send it forward out of the plant to the drains, and somehow it gets back into the water system, you're talking about stained water. You think we've got a problem now. That sometimes in the past has caused a lot of stain and contamination. And it's primarily directed toward those big industries. But then let me tell you this. We've got, Hazlehurst Mills already has one. And we've got backflow preventions in individual homes. If a home is built down, kind of, say the street is here, and that house is kind of low back over there in that yard, and if somewhere down the way, if the sewer pipe out here is running down the street going this way, and it backs up down there, and this manhole out here, this sewer line gets full, and that house is lower than this, you'll have backflow of sewer into a house. We shouldn't have houses built. Now with Charles Harold checking building permits and checking all this sort of things, you don't have this thing. But before, there's a lot of homes around, and we have required backflow preventions on those as well. Go ahead, Opie.
By law, any new established home or business are required to install.
I understand that, right. And another thing one of the things that we're gonna have to do, Mr. Attorney, is, they have to provide that, it has to be done at their expense. Recently, we've had one put in for a long time, and they didn't maintain it, and this backflow happened, and we had to pay over around $2,000 or $3,000 for some carpet, and we shouldn't have had to do it if we'd have handled things properly. This resolution would have saved our rear end. But at any rate, there's a lot involved in this, for not only industry, but individual homes as well. I think maybe y'all already knew that. Where are we? All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carried. All right, okay, I've got number 6 is we were called to Beasley Forest Products a month or so ago that this water system that we were trying to provide for them some months ago with the help of the Jeff Davis County, that big sawmill, which will be the largest and most computerized sawmill in the United States. I was told by the owner in a meeting a day or two ago that it's not, I've been calling it a $50 million installation. He said it's $65 million is what they're spending on that sawmill out there in order to get their sprinkler system in, and it's got to operate under a certain pressure with so much water for at least a minimum of an hour's duration in case of a fire. And they were about to spend $750,000 for a on-ground tank, and we had to do that years ago over at Cook Company. We built an on-ground tank because the 8-inch line was going to Cook Company back then, didn't supply it either, so I've been through this before. But they were about to have to spend $750,000, and they called us in to see what we could do, and in the negotiation, Andre had worked out an EIP type grant to help with that of $500,000, and they chimed up and said with that they'd put $350,000 in, which would just about pay for the line. That would put this thing together, and I said, look, I'm sure the council will buy that. And so I came back to you, and you did. Well, since then, they're trying to renege because the grant is, with the grant is $350,000, they're thinking it might do a little bit more than pay for the line going out there, and they're not considering that we wouldn't have gotten the grant and what it does for helping us complete our project in the time to come. But at any rate, I'm very dissatisfied with it, and I've told some of you about it. And so at this stage of the game, I'm asking for your recommendation. I told them when I left out there Tuesday, I told them Tuesday if I hadn't heard by them by the time of this meeting that I was going to ask them to recommend the old, we call off the dog.
And you have, since time, not heard anything?
I have not heard a word.
Was they thinking that they just wanted this line, the 300,000?
350,000 is what they
Was
brought
just
us.
gonna be enough to get to them? That's all they was concerned with? Is
Well-
that what you telling me?
After looking at it, he didn't think that this line is in essence a part of our total package of the well, the tank, and the line. It's a part of the whole package.
I received a call from Kirk Davis that said they're still in.
Huh?
I received a call from Kirk Davis that said they're still in.
Well, it's like Kurt might have called me. Kurt and I and Phil Gerald and Darrell Beasley was in the meeting. Looks like Kurt might have called the fellow that had the monkey on his back. He said he would contact me to contact y'all.
But I'm saying before you pull the plug, I mean, he said that they have not, they're not out of it.
Well,
That money's still committed.
Yeah.
we're spending money going and coming on, we're spending money to get a permit under the railroad, which we've already paid, and I've just about got that done. We've worked on right-of-ways 1, 2, 3, now on the fourth set of easements to get the line out there. We've got the engineers working on it every day. We're trying to get it ready for bid. We're spending money and we're hemorrhaging. And I'm saying if they're not gonna stick to the deal, I'm tired, I'm not interested in hemorrhaging.
Why don't we table it instead of just doing away with it?
Well, that's the reason I brought it to y'all. It's, if I helped.
Say do away with it,
When
I
I
say
got,
just table
when
it.
I got with them, they told me what they wanted to do. I said, I think the council will approve it, and I in good faith brought it to you. Right now, they haven't followed through on that, and I'm not gonna make the decision. Y'all will have to make it.
Mayor, I agree, that we ought to pull the plug if they're not gonna uphold what they said, that they would do. But at the same time, we need to give them, the opportunity. The biggest thing is, I would say pulling the plug is that grant is still an unknown.
Absolutely.
And if they're not gonna uphold, what they said, I agree, pull the plug. But give them an opportunity, to do so. Till
Okay.
we need a final comment on it.
All right, when I left out there, he promised me a word and within a certain period of time. It's long past. Now that I want y'all to tell me what to tell them about how long are you gonna sit here and wait?
To next September meeting?
No, we can't.
If it is, I'm gonna vote against it.
No, I ain't waiting until September. They can take the pony up and play
Yeah,
ball
they
or.
can, they'll know before then, but you know what, if you go ahead and give them a time that we met and a few days or whatever, but don't have anything else done, like you say, you hemorrhaging, getting other folks to do different things, don't spend another dime until they actually send us a letter, written letter saying that they are gonna comply, because we want to help them.
Right.
And since we want to help them, they contact you and the attorney.
Okay, good gentlemen, I'm putting it in your lap. I'm putting it in your lap. You define the terms and what you want to do, and I'll accept your motion.
How many
and hand
days
it.
you say going?
I say give them at least a few days, maybe a week or whatever, don't spend no money, don't spend
Wait,
nothing.
wait a minute now. There's money being spent every day. The engineering fee on this thing is, I don't know how much it is, but it's sizable, $30,000-$40,000.
Maybe 3 days.
What?
That's,
This is the CDBG
No,
for your
bid
year
closing.
2018
No,
water sewer?
no, this is another animal that we put in to get this line out there, which is a part, well, now, we're using the CDBG,
I see what you're saying.
leveraging that to a degree that it's all connected, but this is an independent entity by itself of putting this line from the Gill Street well out to the Beasley Sawmill. It's about 12,600 feet, which is a little over 2 miles of 12-inch line.
What I'm asking is this part of where ALGA, as well as One Georgia, and whoever else may be involved, is this part of that same program? Is this that
Yes.
$750,000?
yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
It's part of
That's
it.
what I thought.
Yeah.
Right now, as of yesterday, I received an email. We currently owe turnip seed right at $25,000. That's gotta come from local funds. We've already been spending money. It's coming in from CDBG. And you got 2 right there sitting on my desk that we've got to handle that come in yesterday.
Well, we can wait to pay them till the draw comes on the CDBG.
The draw's already come.
Oh,
Draw's already here.
Have you got it here?
I got it here
When?
yesterday.
Oh, I didn't know you had it. Okay, all right, and apparently they keep it up with it, they know that the money's here. Well, okay, I'd like to say, we're spending money,
Mhm.
we're spending money.
If we set that as a date, we're gonna have to have a call meeting to reapprove this thing.
I'll put it in y'all's lap.
We don't need to, I mean, like I said, we need to take, today is the 15th, is that correct?
Yes.
Mhm.
All right,
That bids is on the 22nd, isn't it?
I think you're
I
right.
think
I think it's Tuesday.
Hmm?
It's Tuesday.
Bids is, not the 20th, I don't think. You think it
I
is?
think it's Tuesday.
Bids are coming in right away, and you
I'll
can't.
say Monday. Give
yeah, give them the Monday, if we have to have a call meeting, we'll find out tomorrow.
All right, so we've got Friday, we give them over the weekend until Monday. I don't, are you sure the bid's Tuesday on the 20th?
Man, I don't know, I've got so much on my calendar now.
But we've pushed everything so to try to get all this done. We've already put our ads in the paper so that they could be bid, so that all the contractors within 50 miles of here are aware of the job and got the, okay, all in the boss. What you wanna do? You wanna give them till Monday?
Give them the money.
Somebody, huh?
Get all the plot.
Somebody make a motion?
I'll make a motion to give these until Monday on the supply line.
What type of notice are you gonna require from them?
We're not gonna take any verbiage anymore, if you're gonna have to be written. Mr. Bloodworth made a motion that we give them to, Monday to give us written notice that they're gonna comply with what they've, previously committed to. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Ramey. Any further discussion?
Do we need to take, if they send it to us in a written form and everything, is that binding, counselor?
Do what now?
If they send us the notice that they're gonna abide by their original,
Not really.
it's not really binding, is it? It's not worth the paper's written on, is it?
I mean, it has some moral authority. You can't come back and say, well, I didn't say that.
Right.
I was misunderstood.
Well, it's already in the newspaper, that these figures was in
Yeah,
the,
but
printed in the
that's
newspaper.
based on a verbal commitment they made that they're saying evidently they didn't make, the way I'm understanding it.
Oh, we know they're not denying that now.
No, they're not denying it.
No, they're not
They're
denying
saying
that.
they're
They're saying now that they think that we're overcharging them because we're gonna get a grant that they didn't know that we were going, but they couldn't get the grant came to the city of Hazlehurst. No, they're not saying they didn't make the commitment, they just reneged. They think we're charging them more than we should. Okay, we've got a motion, and a second. Mr. Ramey seconded, that we give them till, Monday to, through written notification that they're gonna comply with their initial agreement. Is there further discussion?
Can I ask you a
Can we,
question?
Yes, sir, go ahead.
can we, due to the fact that this is coming up in Big Monday, can we go ahead and establish for a call meeting that we all are in place and have it that morning or wherever they got time to get it here? You know what I'm saying? Just set it up for us to have a call meeting now.
You see, the notice is ready to go tomorrow, if we're gonna have this, handle this on Monday. Why don't we see what happens Monday, and if they don't, then have a call meeting, for Tuesday.
You can't, well,
Well, okay, but I'm just saying, are you give them that time and we're gonna be him with the letter, you can handle it at that time.
I say Monday, be here, have a call meeting Monday at 6. And then have the written, by 5.
Yeah, it gives them a time and a day, and that's,
Right.
so go ahead and schedule a call meeting, because remember, I got to post this.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Because we wanna help them, we want businesses, we
Yeah.
want
Correct.
them to be able to help.
All right, have we, got our motion, sufficient now? Or have we got something that we need to amend? I've got so distracted here. Have we, is the motion complete as it's, out there on Mr. Ramey? Is it?
actually, it should be amended that I'll do that now, that the
Oh, yes,
day and date be set as Monday, time, 5 o'clock.
Monday at 5 o'clock.
Well, the
And then
meeting will be at 5 o'clock, there you got to have the letter by 5 o'clock.
No, the meeting is
Meeting at
6.
6 o'clock, I spit out the wrong thing after 6.
All right,
Meeting at 6.
Call meeting.
there's been an amendment to the motion that, we call a meeting, this coming Monday at 5 o'clock for the purpose of,
No,
final.
sir, 6 o'clock.
No, here we call
Meeting
it.
at 6.
There is an amendment on the motion that we call a meeting for 6 PM Monday to finalize our decision, and when we get their commitment, or whether or not we get their commitment. Is there a second to the amendment?
Second.
Second by Mr. Johnson to the amendment. All in favor of the amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Now that we've got a motion that's been amended, all in favor of the motion to give them until sometime 5 o'clock Friday, Monday, 5 o'clock Monday. The motion is made and that we give them 5 o'clock and we have a call meeting. So, do I entertain a motion for that?
I'll motion to have.
Mr. Johnson made the motion that we do that. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Ramey. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we call for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we know what we're gonna do. We're gonna give them 5 o'clock, and we have a call meeting to make our final decision at 6. All righty. I hate that, gentlemen, but I just had to lay it you out. You've looked at the series of training, we're going on to item 7. You looked at the series of training that both I and council and employees have got coming up. I entertain a motion that we approve the
I make
training.
a motion to approve all training.
Mr. Bloodworth made a motion that we approve the training. Is there a second to his motion?
Second.
Second by Mr. Griffin. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion's carried. All right, y'all, I entertain a motion that we make approve the water and sewer adjustments, report to council the check register, numbers 8, 9, and 10, which is our common practice.
Motion.
Mr. Johnson made the motion that we approve those 3 items. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, third, and fourth. All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, I call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We've got taken care of that. Any citizens comment?
I just want to give an update. The credit card machine is installed at the airport. It's up and running and works great.
Good.
Well, how long the one before last? You have it, it was even before your time, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was installed, I think it was installed like 05, 04 maybe.
So maybe this one will give
Well,
us,
yeah, it was prior to that, so I'm saying, yeah, 03 probably.
so maybe this will last a good long time. We hope so anyway. All right, good, thank you. Anybody else?
Here,
Ron? Huh?
y'all gonna bring up about.
Yeah, we're gonna have that in a minute. Rhonda,
I missed y'all Monday night.
who did you kick?
Nobody. They kicked me in the floor.
Well, we're glad you're doing well and back
Thank you.
smiling. That's good. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, council, y'all got anything you got to spit out there? You got something hard tied on your chest you got to get rid of?
Yeah, I just wanted to bring this up to the council and everything. On the project that we have going on out at the treatment plant and everything, the original machine that we were gonna buy for a bar screen and everything that we're gonna buy for $20,000, well, it was too short for our deal out there. It was too short. Okay. We have a bar screen here, same company and everything else, that will fit. Now, the price on this, startup shipping and everything else is like $44,000. Okay. However, just to let you know on something else, the budget that we proposed at the time when we gave you all the numbers, we have since saved $38,000 out of it. So we are not going over the budget that we quoted to you back in May. We saved $38,000, so we're going to spend an extra $24,000, so that's going to give us about, we'll still be $14,000 under the budget we gave you all back in the 1st of May and everything we do with this, and we do need this new bar screen to put in so we can take in, make sure the other side of the plant doesn't get messed up and everything else. And this is just an informational thing I wanted y'all to know about and whatever else, but this is the route we've had to go.
Have we previously approved the second bar screen?
Yes.
I don't think we have.
This one here, we have not approved it. We can take and we can ask for approval now. Like I said, we're still under the budget what we're at, but if we need to, I'd like to give an approval to go ahead and purchase this bar screen and the cost of $44,000.
Well, of course, that's just y'all's decision, but the bar screen that's there now is handling everything. If we need to go down, the beauty part of putting in the second screen is that we're getting out all the farm material, whether it goes in now with the new side in operation, we're filtering, both sides is filtered at all, but to be able to put in the second screen over there lets us clear this line of vats, and down there about where Rhonda's sitting, this sewer, after it goes through all this screening and filtering out everything but sand, we'll say, and that sand runs down there, and that pipe is up above the floor where it goes out about 8 or 10 inches, and that area fills up with sand. When that thing fills up with sand, then the sand's running through the pipe and going into the plant, and it's made so that we can switch to side 2 and run through, we only run through one side at a time, and then we can get in there and take that sand out of the bottom, and while this is filling up with sand, we can switch back and forth, and the bar screen is needed. But right now, our cash flow is such that I'd like to wait till either we get in our ad valorem tax and get our cash position, because I don't wanna go back in that line of credit, but then I'll leave that up to y'all.
We don't have to go into a line of credit. We've got the money in spots and everything else. We've already took and established that and whatever. Now, we've already got the money there. That's what I took when we brought it before the council back in May. We had the money to do this and everything. And we cut, like I said, we
What
cut.
spots account you going into now?
We had, I don't know, we looked at it another morning or whatever else.
We've got a SPOSS account, we got the water and sewer fund, and there's another one.
There's another.
There's
we looked
three
at-
different accounts that we look back to
You got
May.
cash money in the bank to pay for it now?
Yes.
In splash funds?
Between the three accounts, we've got the funds to pay for everything.
Everything we've
That
done.
was voted on in May.
Including the increased
Yes.
amount you're
Yes.
talking about?
Because we took, like I said, we budgeted, we cut $38,000 out of the original budget that I was presenting to y'all. No. It's not gonna deplete them, no. I mean, the only one that even took a lot out of it was gonna be the actual
Diffuser.
Well, that
diffusers,
just-
and that's just the way it was on that, because it's just.
Well, then we just spent $92,000 on the diffusers. Now, that came out of the capital reserve account. And,
Same
I was-
account that paid the last one,
pardon?
same account. that paid
Yeah,
the
I
last
understand that. We had that. I agree. But I didn't think we had quite enough funds in the splash account to take care of this. Maybe we do. Have a look at that.
one. We did.
You had to get $9,000 out of the reserves?
92, no, it's a little more than that.
Yeah, to do the diffuser.
Yes.
So you got 90-something out of the city reserves to take care of
It's
that.
water and sewer reserve.
So now, oh, okay.
Water and sewer.
Water and sewer.
Water and sewer reserve.
Okay, thank you, okay, no problem.
I'm for it, as you well know, because when this vat fills up, and it's been running, it's been doing a beautiful job. The only thing because we'll know are you draining the system now totally?
Best I can. We have problems with the old intake lines for the pond.
Well, what's happened now that we've, for clarification, the sewer treatment plant is a huge cylindrical deal that's cut in halves, and a half side over here, and a half side over here. Now, that thing was built 30 years ago, and we found out that they were ready to spend several million to do away with it and put in another system. And we've worked, Eric and them has worked out there on the other half. I got involved with the first half, and we found out, Opie, you might help to clarify with your knowledge of an operation of the treatment plant. We found out that one half of that plant will take care of all the sewer that comes through the city of Hazlehurst.
I've seen over 3 million go through with a 98% recovery rate,
And just using half of it.
just using that.
So based upon that, if we were to double the size of the city of Hazlehurst,
You can double your industry.
double the industry and everything around here, the plant would more than take care of it. So we're in good shape capacity-wise with our sewer treatment plant around here. And we've really made, I'm anxious to see on the side that we're fixed to look at, because we've got to do some repairs of a valve in there. I'm anxious to see if this thing, this trough that, and I keep pointing at it because it's just like this aisle going back there where, at the back of the room, there's a cement big trough. And I'm anxious when we do turn it on, see if that's full of sand, and if the sand is now running in the pipe going into the plant, and how much sand is going to be in that plant. So it's
I
going to give us.
looked at the one with the grit chamber today and just leveled the top of the pipe, and this will be the 4th time we've cleaned it since we've installed that screening system.
Well, we're in good shape, but it's up to y'all. If we've got the money and y'all want to spend it, I'm perfectly willing.
I make a motion we go ahead and buy the bar screen that we just talked about.
And it's the same company and everything as the previous.
Same.
It's identical to what we got.
So,
You made the motion, Mr. Bloodworth, and seconded the motion. Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for vote. All in favor of purchasing the next second bar screen that's identical to the first one, at a price of how much?
$44,000.
$44,000. Say aye. Any opposed?
As long as this ain't coming out of the city reserve.
They say that, I haven't looked at this SPOS account, but I'm sure Ms. Bernice and Eric knows what they're talking about. What?
My second one.
My
Mayor, this company don't want us to tell anybody what we paid for it because they actually sell between 100 and 120,000. And the reason we get it is because we let people come out here and look at it, and they've been calling me, and we've helped them sell quite a few of them.
They do know we have to conduct business in public.
That's what I'm
right?
saying.
Well, I know that. What they talking about, if somebody comes in here, they'll say, hey, we can get one cheaper somewhere
Let
else.
me tell you what happened. They called me and said, Mayor, I understand that y'all are fixing to buy another machine, which Eric, it didn't fit. I understand y'all fixing to buy another machine, and we're bringing everybody there to look at our machine. Said, and so they didn't want nothing but they're sitting there, and that's what he says, 44,000. All right, I think we can all around it enough. If we approved it, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, proceed, Mr. Griffin. Tell whoever it is.
Thank you, sir.
All right, that's good. Anything? What's next? Well, wait a minute. No, we got something else before then. What you could tell me about? What is that?
Nothing on mine but executive session.
What is it?
Mr. Comments, you made comments already.
Can you read your writing?
In the ordinance, city.
Oh, yeah. All right, I knew I was supposed to do something about it. The chief of police came to, we'd been talking with him about getting an inmate to do, got inmates in the courthouse and inmates all over doing various things, and we wanted to get an inmate here, and the chief was able to get one to do some yard work. We've got an unusual situation in that this inmate is serving a sentence which lasts till next year sometime. But this inmate we don't own and operate the jail, the sheriff operates the jail. So when the city of Hazlehurst prisoners are in the jail, they're under the direction and supervision of the sheriff, not us. This inmate misbehaved some way, and the sheriff said that he brought in something working that he shouldn't have, and it made the sheriff could, and I won't blame him. I'm not blaming Preston at all. He's running a good show. But the inmate brought something else, so they stopped us from letting us take our inmate out because he was carrying some contraband back into the jail, and of course that's the reason they require supervision. Well, the sheriff has had a little mercy on us and feels like that we do need some help. And he's willing, and this is what we want to do sometime. I don't know how we're going to handle it exactly. This came up after we got all this to you. Ms. Bernice has written it hand by hand in here. The sheriff says that if we will sign an affidavit to him that when that prisoner leaves that door and comes out to work, that we assume all responsibility for any injuries he may cause himself or others, then he's willing to do a better job when he gets back to the jail, making sure he don't carry anything in that he's not supposed to. So the sheriff has agreed if we will sign, accept liability.
You would have to do it anyway with him being a city inmate.
Yep, we're liable for all this doctor bills.
There's no difference.
Well, he's our prisoner, so he is our liability.
correct.
That's what I told him. But now, Ms. Bernice, you bring out your idea about the liability, and in fact, what we had decided to do, both as chief and Ms. Bernice and I had decided that we were going to look at it, and Mr. Attorney, we're going to seek your advice on. I know he is our prisoner, we're responsible for
We're
him.
gonna be liable for him anyway, because he's under our authority while he's here. So we're
All right.
responsible for supervision.
But we can't keep him at the courthouse. They've got some way that they're monitoring him with one of the men or something. I think Sanders, Elder Sanders is in there a lot and all. But now we want to use this prisoner. We want to use this prisoner, the tree roots across the city. He's a cement finisher. Finished a lot of cement. And he's talented. He can form and finish sidewalks or drives and pour. the routes across town, and particularly with our new sidewalks that we put in, will all handicap accessible. And we're trying to get our sidewalks handicap accessible all over town. And I wanted to use him so that we wouldn't be doing anything but buying cement, uprooting where the roots have cracked and ruined our sidewalks, and then where this curb is, it's not where it's handicap accessible. So a wheelchair victim can go up and down the sidewalks of the city of Hazlehurst and be handicap accessible. And he's a cement finisher. I want to work him out there. And I don't know if we can handle he's got to be under supervision.
If he's under a trustee status, he's had very minimum supervision.
But he's not. He's been on lockdowns because of the incident before.
Well, here's what I'm going to do. I had heard about it. I said, look, you put it on there, and I'll bring it up and bring it before the council. And with Mr. Bloodworth down here with his number of years of being a police officer and dealing with that, and Mr. Attorney, you're the municipal judge and also the student attorney, I'd like for you two to get your heads together and help us work. Here's what I'd like for you to do now. We need the free labor. And it's costing us $35 a day to house him. And I would like for y'all to figure out a way for us to utilize some prison labor.
Now remember, I'm gonna bring something up here. We've also signed a contract, and the judge is supposed to be signing off on it, through the Department of Community Supervision, who is, Mr. Justin Wilkinson is over it, the little building across from the courthouse. We will be getting people that are serving probation, and they will be able to begin working with us also. We're waiting on the judge to sign off on it. So you've got some things there that you also can be looking at. I just wanted to remind you all of that.
That's
One
not,
thing to take into consideration is the charge that
I would recommend with what Mayor Stone has said, that y'all sit down and talk with Chief Williams and Sheriff Bohannon, because with what happened, Sheriff Bohannon, at the mercy pleadings of Chief Williams, allowed the gentleman to mow our yard today. So y'all just need to really sit down and talk with him.
And I'm not, all I'm saying is you won't keep contraband out of a jail or a prison not advocating, I'm just saying you
Right.
won't keep
Well, unfortunately, with what
prison and jail are
happened,
full of contraband.
it affected pretty well every inmate that went in there, that is in there. And that's why this is the
Ms.
issue.
Dawson, what's the young man's name that you called a minute ago that's working on this for us, came here to get us to fill out those forms?
Mr. Wilkinson?
Is he with the sheriff's department?
No, sir, he's with the probation department.
Probation.
Thing to do when the PD takes him back over there, make sure he don't have contraband.
Well, Preston said that he'll see to that, since he, but the probation fellow told me, I bumped into him a day or two ago at the courthouse, and he told me the judge wouldn't sign it, the thing that we sent over there. It had to have some modifications and that he was having to work on it.
Okay.
So that's where we are with that.
Okay.
And the thing that I want to do with this man, and the way I want to use him is repairing sidewalks and other things. I'd almost have to have a full-time person out staying with him to protect. But anyway, y'all perfect it, please, with your experience and you. How about y'all getting your heads together and see if we can figure out how to do that? We certainly need it done. Any other thing? We do have to go into executive session. A matter has been placed in our hands that cannot wait till next month's regular meeting. It has to be done within 30 days, and that next month's meeting will have exceeded the 30-day limit, so we've got to make some decisions relative to personnel in the executive committee. I entertain a motion that we go into executive committee.
I make a motion.
Mr. Griffin has made a motion that we go into executive committee. It's been seconded by Mr. Johnson. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ladies and gentlemen, we shall return. Okay.
That's.
Christmas tree.
Okay, entertain a motion that we go back into regular session.
Make a motion.
Motion made and seconded, made by Mr. Griffith, seconded by Mr. Rainey, we'll go back to regular session. Mr. Bloodworth, you've got a motion concerning our executive session?
Yes, sir, I make a motion that
Katie Rivas,
be reinstated and laterally transferred to the street department.
Okay, is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Second by Mr. Rainey. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion is carried. Mr. Johnson?
Second.
Mr. Johnson moved to adjourn, and second by Mr. Bloodworth. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion is carried. All right, Mr.
A lot of thunder out there.
I'm scared.
No,
Scared, say scared.
Mr. Wayne?
That line is scared me now.
Yeah, John.
I'm telling you.
Lightning.